All right, well, welcome back to Exhaust Sports Auto. My name is Kevin, and you are here to witness the 2011 Audi S4. So, many of you seem to like these high mileage Audi reviews, and I am also quite fond of these older Audi models because they just age really well. Very classy cars. Like this car, you can pull up in this, it pretty much looks like a 2021. It'll fool pretty much everybody. You just have to clean up those little yellowed out headlights there, but other than that, this is a very just timeless looking ride. I mean, even the B8.5s really do resemble basically this car. So I like the Audi design, how it doesn't just date them. And by the way, this particular vehicle does seem to have the rear differential option. These cars do tend to understeer a little bit, these Audis, so many buyers seek that differential to help make this car feel a little bit more neutral. So I'm glad to see that this vehicle does have it, at least when I checked underneath anyway. Now, why am I here at Cary Imports? Because you can buy a warranty with this vehicle, and that's why I am reviewing this car here because, well, many of you, I don't know why it is that I am the only person that keeps getting these requests to talk about reliability and all this stuff. Maybe because I don't really bullshit people, but regardless, people really want to hear this stuff from me, and I'm surprised because nobody questions the, larger, more mainstream reviewers about this stuff. But okay, whatever, to each their own. If I actually went through all these cars and talked about all the things that are going to go wrong with this vehicle, let's say I did that. Why are you all of a sudden just armed with all this information and go out and buy one now? I don't think so. So me wasting my time with all that stuff is honestly not really worth it to anybody because honestly, just get a warranty. With the amount of things that could potentially go wrong with this car, just pay $3,000 for the warranty and just be done with it. I was actually, all right, you want to hear about some reliability things? I was actually looking it up on the forums here, right? The Audi Zine, whatever the hell it's called. Okay, you want to hear about some reliability? Let's look it up then. All you have to do is Google 2011 Audi S4 reliability, and all your answers are going to be there. I'm surprised at like the insane questions I get. All right, let's just go ahead here. This has been beaten to death. B8.5 S4 reliability, longevity and reliability. Don't buy an Audi S4. Let's go and check that out. So I actually already read this guy. Okay, let's see what he had to say here. I bought a 2011 Audi S4. This is in 2012 actually, but it's been nothing but problems. First thing was the differential oil started leaking after 600 miles and 2 weeks after ownership, exclamation, exclamation. Second car had noise coming from the fuse box. Third thing, I had wind noise on driver's side door, so they replaced the seals. This guy doesn't really know grammar very well. I don't know how he afforded such a brand new Audi at the time, but whatever. Finally, I drove my car for 5 months after the rear differential was fixed and it was leaking again, and they can't find where it's leaking from, so they are putting dye the pinpoint the leak. All right, whatever. You get the point. He says, he finally ends off with, I hate Audi. That's what he has to say. And all the Audi fangirls, they get together like, sorry bro, you got a lemon. Audis have great reliability and quality. I've had mine for 77 years, had never had an issue with it. This other guy's like, dude, all cars are prone to issues. We had a Honda Pilot, the transmission blew out in the first year of ownership, but we still kept it for 7 years and it was great beyond that point. See some other guys, one guy said bye. Another guy said quite a useless thread. Another guy just said it's a lemon. Again, of course, a forum is basically like the circle jerk of people that get together just to hold hands and talk about how great their cars are, basically. Or in certain instances, like this one guy who's just really pissed off and he's actually had issues and he's trying to get them resolved, but he's not really getting the help that he needs, clearly, from his little Audi buddies here. If you want to know everything that's going to go wrong with some of these vehicles, just don't. Just get a warranty. Make sure like the dealer guys take care of you and own it for 3 years. And that's how you enjoy these German vehicles, because these cars do genuinely offer something special to most people's lives. Like, they do genuinely drive great, and they have this unique feel that the other Japanese counterparts just can't seem to capture. They're great in their own regards. I love cars like the Lexus GS, and the 2013 and up would be a perfect replacement. After you're done playing with these cars, that's a great car to get. And many of you guys are like, Kevin, I'll just stick to my Lexus, and that's good for you. But some people want to experiment with these vehicles and know what they're all about. And enough talking, let's go ahead and let's get this thing out of the road now. Okay, so a couple of things to note about this particular car. Well, I will say this. There's one major component I've noticed that does seem to go wrong with these cars, and that is the computer controlling the transmission. So this is actually the 7-speed dual clutch. Okay, we'll test out how it performs. Let's see if it's still as crispy as the newer dual clutches are. This is like a 10-year-old car now at this point with like 95,000 miles on it. I just rounded up, 5 or above, give it a shove, right? 100K miles. Spicy. All right, very good. What you just saw there was a 3-liter V6 supercharged. Gone is the naturally aspirated V8, at least for the S4. If you wanted to get the 4.2-liter V8, you have to go to the S5 of this similar year, and you'll get the 350 horsepower, 25 pounds-feet of torque V8 in that. But this produced about 333 horsepower, about 325 pounds-feet of torque. This particular car does have the mufflers cut in the rear, so that's why it sounds a little bit more aggressive than it is. And yes, this particular one is made to the 7-speed dual clutch, like I mentioned, but you could get a manual transmission with this as well, but good luck finding one. I'm sure it's pretty rare. Weight distribution has changed because they got rid of the V8 in this one, so it's like 55% of the weight over the front nose as well as 45% of the back, so that's the weight distribution in this particular car. Put it in the little sport mode here. Why not? Many people like to see that. Just gonna hold the lower gear, of course, but okay. Let's see here. Nice, very nice. It's because it's a supercharged motor, this thing actually has a more linear power delivery, of course, similar to a naturally aspirated vehicle. And it is a very quiet and refined car. It's one of the reasons why I absolutely love Audis. They are very refined vehicles, okay? This vehicle does not utilize double pane glass or anything like that, but at the higher speeds, it is stable and it is very quiet. This particular car is riding on 19-inch wheels in all 4 corners, and it's 255 wide tires in all 4 corners as well. It's Pirelli P-Zeros. Honestly, just put some all seasons on here and it'll be just fine, because it does, of course, have the Quattro all-wheel drive system, so it's got grip for days. Many seem to not like the steering feel in Audis. They say it's numb, whatever that means. I really like how effortless the Audi steering wheels feel, because it is not only natural and direct, but it's got like this nice fluid nature to it that just makes it very easy to whip around. I really like that. That's why I like driving these Audi products. It genuinely has a different feel from some of these Japanese cars. It has like that nice solidity out on the road, but also this nice easy kind of driving nature to it, which I really like. Weighs about 3,900 pounds, about 185 inches long. As we're about to see in the interior segment, there's not a whole lot of space in the rear for passengers to sit in, but still a nice 4-door vehicle. Looks clean. I like it. Let's test out some more of that handling here. Exhaust can be a little boomy, but anyway. You know what I would have done instead of cutting the mufflers off? I would have put an intake in here because it's supercharged. I would have liked to hear that supercharging whine a little bit more, because it is just a V6. I mean, like a V8, yeah, sure, maybe cut the mufflers off that would have been cool, but this, it's still cool though, but it's just a little bit more boomy than you would expect. It's not as discreet as a car like this probably should be, but anyway. You got a multi-link suspension in all 4 corners, okay, front and rear. A lot of aluminum being used in the suspension construction of this vehicle, and it definitely does handle properly. I'll test more of the handling here in a little bit, but put it back in the sport mode. Very crispy. The way that this transmission reacts, I am so impressed with it. Damn, this is impressive. Yeah, just get that warranty and then you can enjoy this pretty incredible transmission. Man, it reacts like a PDK, dude. This thing is really quick. Very nice. Yeah, I like that quite a bit. That's when this car really comes into play here. Will auto upshift and all that for you though, but you can always take control of the paddles there. But yeah, riding really nicely actually. I'm really enjoying that. I actually checked out a pretty cheap Audi A5 here as well, and I noticed that car had like a lot of creaks and rattles in it. This car also utilizes some plastics, and it can be a little crunchy when you kind of touch up against it, but fortunately there is no creaks and rattles when you just drive the car around. I like the way this car reacts in normal mode as well. That's not an issue. I mean, driving this car, man, it's just so nice. There's hardly any compromises here. Again, it's just like the few reliability things you got to keep in mind, but other than that, you just can't argue with the drivability of these vehicles. Let's see here. Go ahead and check out that little body roll, chassis control, all that stuff, and we can kind of end this review off here. Let's see. Not too much body roll, actually. Very composed for what it is. Handling the weight extremely well, actually. So, very impressed with this vehicle. You know, proper suspension setup, good chassis, nice all-wheel drive system. Now, I will say it is slightly lowered, but aside from that, ride quality is not an issue here. I like the solidity of this cabin, and that was a pretty big bump there. Soaked it up really well, baby. Oh, I'll end off on this. I drove the E92 M3, okay? That M3, okay, that was like a childhood dream car of mine, but I'll be honest with you, I personally think that this vehicle has a little bit more character in that car. For once, that V8 wasn't, I like the V8, but it just sounded like a glorified inline six-cylinder to me, and that's just not cool. I think that this supercharged V6, you know, the ridiculous muffler cut exhaust aside, is a little bit more charismatic. I like the ride quality of this a little bit more. I like the build quality of this more. I like the way Audis age over time. And that M3 also had about 100,000 miles on it as well. But that's just my opinion. I mean, you guys let me know if you are Team BMW, Team Audi, whatever you are. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. But I think we're pretty much done here looking at the drive. Let's go ahead and let's talk about that interior now. Okay, so now that we are stopped, let's go ahead and let's talk about this interior, because very classy interior, much like the exterior. Even though the interior doesn't have like a lot going on here, it's clean, it's solid, and I like their kind of material choices for the most part. Now, this is obviously not perfect. There's a little bit of wear on the steering wheel, chrome here, and like I mentioned, some of the plastics can be a little bit more crunchy, only when you kind of touch up against them. But for the most part, though, this is a very solid cabin space. I don't really have much to complain about. Now, obviously, the MMI units in this is like an older generation, of course. It's kind of irrelevant. You know, you don't buy this for the infotainment anymore. You buy it for that glorious little motor inside of it and the little driving capabilities, and the fact that this is a nice all-rounder, all-weather friendly vehicle that you can kind of just thrash about, and that's what I like about this vehicle the most. And the fact that this car is not that dated. Now, you have some niceties here, like the heated seats for the front two seats here, not the rear. And you have a very simple kind of climate control, which is separated from that screen, which is fantastic. And the screen, I mean, it's okay. It's all right. I mean, this particular car doesn't have like the upgraded sound system or anything like that. It's a base sound system. Does it sound good? It sounds all right. It's not bad at all. Actually, it's very good for like a base audio system, especially for the time. I'm pretty impressed with that. But no, it's not the updated one. But the screen performance, at least, it is rather quick to respond, so I do like that. You have one-touch up and down windows for all four windows, no double pane glass. That could help this car take it to the next level, you know, make it a little bit quieter, because you get a slight buffeting effect when you get up to speeds. But for the most part, it's a very quiet car, especially for the class. I have no real complaints with the refinement. It's definitely better than the BMWs for sure. You have nice automatic headlights here. You have a normal turn signal here, which is nice. And you have these nice little paddle shifters here. They're very small, but they react extremely well, and I do like using it. This 7-speed dual clutch, it is incredible. But just know you could get a manual as well. Revs out to about 7,000 RPMs. It's got 200 miles an hour on the dash. Now, that is impressive. Now, the gauge cluster, very simple. Love that. It's so clean, effortless to read. Like that a lot. Traditional kind of gear lever knob. You put it all the way down for the sport mode. I do notice that I think there's some type of valve system still on this vehicle. It just seems to get a little bit louder to me in the sport mode. So I've noticed that. Again, it's a very boomy kind of, you know, exhaust sound after they cut the mufflers off. Maybe something that you can look into if you do purchase something like this. You know, put a more cleaner sounding exhaust on here. I don't know, but anyway, you got two little cup holders here. I like how it kind of holds the drink in place. That's good. The Center armrest, a little bit difficult to move around, but anyway, you have a little bit of storage space in there as well. And the glove box is a good size too. And you can definitely fit a water bottle in the door pocket space as well. And you do have one normal sunroof here. Visibility is pretty good as well. It's got a nice, good seating position here. I'm about 5'11". I will say, getting in and out of this vehicle, just watch out for this if you're a little bit taller, this upper sill here. But otherwise, I do kind of like how it's a little bit more low slung feeling. Again, this car is lower too, so keep that in mind too. But after you sit in it, the seats are extremely supportive, comfortable. I like the suede type material mixed with the leather. It is such a great seat design and just really keeps you in place. Love the seats. Very non-fatiguing vehicle. The car itself rides great and the seats just help with it. So that's what I like about these Audi vehicles. Now let's go ahead, let's talk about the rear seats, because the rear seats, not a whole lot of space back there. It's like a previous generation Civic, not a whole lot of space. Headroom is decent in this vehicle, even in the back, but again, for the taller individuals, just watch out. You do have some vents back there, but no heated seats or your own climate display. But what I do love is those amazing seats. It's the same seats that you get up front here. You can actually fold them down 60-40, which makes this car so damn practical. I love that. The trunk space is actually pretty decent. There's no spare tire in this particular model, but the trunk is a great size, and after folding down the seats, it just makes this car so versatile, so practical. That's what I love. So, concluding thoughts. I love driving these cars. I like how Audi, even back then, but even today, they continue to marry together kind of what Mercedes does with their refinement, as well as like some BMW dynamics. They try to marry the two together, so they're kind of like this in-between car. But I love their smoothness in the steering, the motor, transmission. Everything is so good here from a driving standpoint. Again, I think people should check stuff like this out, but just know what you're getting into. If you had to ask, then you probably should stay away. But if you're comfortable getting a warranty and knowing the fact that you have to deal with a couple things here and there, this car is a lot of fun. Life is too short, man. I mean, enjoy some of this stuff. I like these Euro cars. I enjoy being in them. I like being seen in them, of course, posted on the gram, right? Nice little Audi. Enjoy yourself, and once the warranty's done, get rid of it, and then maybe get like a BMW or something on warranty, and then after you're done enjoying that, settle down, get a nice Lexus GS, which is an amazing car, drives incredible, and ride that one out. So that's kind of my thoughts. I mean, let me know if you're an actual owner and you're not one of these Audi zine freaks. Leave your actual thoughts and ownership experiences. I want to hear from actual human beings with real life experience with these cars, because real life people will be buying these things. So I'm going to leave all of Cary Imports information down below. Take advantage of their warranty. I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care and goodbye.